I recently learned of a road trip game played by my older sister and her husband. While driving on a dual stretch of road, they look for unusual structures such as old barns, silos, children's tree houses. One will nudge the other and say, "Hey, you see that cave up in the mountain with the tree growing out of it? Ed and Hannah could live in that." Hi, I'm Hannah. My husband Edward and I have been married for 5 years. It's hard to picture one of us apart from the other. As God led us together, He also turned both of us into daring, creative adventurers. One of the most transformative times in my life was the summer of 2015. My family had always known that I was a little eccentric. I think I was about 6 years old when I told them that I wanted to live in an RV and travel around the country selling smoothies for a living. So they weren't exactly surprised when I let the lease go out on my tiny house, packed up everything I had, and drove to Montana to spend a summer working at Yellowstone Association. I spent almost 6 months there. I lived in a Forest Service bunkhouse, or I tent camped at state parks or national forests. The experience was an awakening to me. I realized that I was truly free, and that's the summer I became brave. At the end of the season, my boyfriend Edward quit his job for 5 years and came up to meet me. We were a little concerned about what life would look like when we arrived at home with no jobs, but we felt certain we would be able to rebuild even better lives. We packed up my 2-door hatchback and set out on a road trip to explore the country. For more than 30 days, we camped out of our tent in National Forest. We camped near the giant sequoias of California. We ate wild blackberries that grew near secluded waterfalls. We cooked tinfoil packet dinners and stopped to make coffee at roadside tables overlooking vast ravines of wilderness. We were mesmerized by the endless beauty of God's creation. We also fought a lot. We fought about how to pack up the car, where to camp, what to eat, where to stop, and how to talk to each other. Finally, there was one night when we fought so much that it crossed our minds to give up, separate, and each go on alone. Yet, it would not have been worth it. We were not quitters, and we knew that the enjoyment that we experienced on the trip was in large part because it was shared. So, we quietly resolved not to give up on one another, to extend grace and carry on. And that was a turning point for us. We finally began to understand how different and how similar we were. We worked through our differences and learned how to respect and understand each other. When we got home, we had about $200 left, and we couldn't remember which one of us it belonged to, but it didn't matter anymore. After that road trip, we were not just Edward and just Hannah, and we never would be again. We were Ed and Hannah, a team of 2 who pooled resources and worked together on everything. We got married in 2016 on October 29th. We went on to buy a camper and live in Western North Carolina for 3 years while Edward went to school. Then Edward's work brought us back to New Bern, which had to have been God's plan because we never thought we would end up back here. I was pregnant, and for some reason, my parents were really excited that we'd be living nearby. This week, we began a new adventure to acquire a homestead where we can start our own mini farm, raise some chickens and goats, and homeschool our children. We are the unpredictable couple, the creative couple, the daring couple, the yes we can couple. I know that all of our success is because God had us in His hands. He is always enabling us to chase the desires of our hearts. The greatest part about ending up back in New Bern has been being near my family. We've always been close, so learning that Ed and I had become the butt end of a joke was kind of a symbol of affection to me. When I asked my sister Haley who had come up with the game, she said, "Oh, it wasn't either of us. It was your younger sister, Carly, and her boyfriend." When I mentioned the game to my parents, they confessed, "Oh, we know about it because we play it too." Thank you.